Welcome back to the 12 Talk podcast with me, your co-host Josh, and my co-host. He's back,
I'm back.
Mitch.
back.
He's back. The boy is back. Yeah. And
Back.
we get to talk all about one of the most infuriating games of Seahawks football that we've watched in some time, and let's pick apart some positives from it. But before we do that, as people are still coming in, Mitch, how are you?
I am better.
Good.
I am better. And when I say better, it's a collective I. Me and my partner and our baby that is yet to be born are all fine. So there have been some emergencies and some worries, but the world is all good. So appreciate all the well wishes and everything that I had from people. We are all good, and I'm back.
Good. Oh, mate, I'm so happy to hear that. I really am. It's been it was difficult doing a solo pod, but I'm
You
just glad you're
smashed
back.
it. You smashed
Thank
it.
you. Thank you. I don't really want to do it again. I'll be very, very honest. But I enjoyed it, and we had some really good feedback. Some awesome people joined in the comments as well as usual. Really, really chuffed to have members of our Discord that come in. As I can see, they're all starting to join now, and we really, really appreciate you guys. So today we're going to be talking all about that Seahawks squeakingly close win against the Colts. It was at the death with J-My. We have got topics to talk through. We're going to do usual highlights, winners and losers, your comments and questions. We're going to dissect the run game a little bit as well and just see why we think something's going wrong. We're going to talk about some third down conversion efficiency. Slips on the field is something that I couldn't help but notice a lot yesterday. And Mitch is going to absolutely glaze Nick Eminori because he didn't have the chance last week and he is wearing the jersey. As always, if you've got questions, you've got comments, pop them in the comments here and we will get to them. I will try my damnedest, but let's hit the theme tune and get straight into it. Back again for everyone joining us early. Thank you very much. If you catch this on the replay, by all means, and we're new to you, you can like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It really helps us because we are a self-funded pod. And if you want to spread a little bit of Christmas cheer, by all means, hit the link below to buy us a coffee, a pizza, or Mitch and I may use that for some posh mulled wine. You mentioned Waitrose. I'm not that posh. Lidl. That'll do me.
Lidl will do you a nice mulled wine.
Yeah, exactly. See, it doesn't matter. You put some cinnamon sticks in there and, all the bits and bobs, keep it going. You're onto a winner. And it is the festive period. Before we go any further, I just want to give some massive well wishes to everyone over there in Washington State with the floods. It's been absolutely horrendous seeing what's happening. And we really hope all of our supporters and our friends out there are safe and their families are as well. So, yeah, just big respect to everyone who's having to deal with that at the moment. Mitch.
Yeah.
The Colts.
The who?
The Colts. The Indianapolis Colts. Let's do a quick overview of it before we start giving our opinions on this. So there you go. The Seahawks beat the Colts 18 points to 16. Jason Myers coming in absolutely clutch in the end. And shall we go through one of the most boring box scores here? Look at this. Quarter by quarter. Q1, 3-3. Field goals from Groupie, and Myers. Second quarter, field goal from Myers for us. TD from Downs. Field goal from Grouper and an extra point from Grouper. A field goal, shockingly, from Myers in the third. And then 3 field goals and another field for Myers and a field goal for the Colts, leaving it at 18-16. Now, anyone who joined us in our watch party last night will know there was a lot of frustration going around. I'm so glad we do this the next day because it gives me time to sleep on it and reflect. And I did say in the watch party yesterday that a win is a win. I'm just happy to walk out of wherever with a win. And we managed to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat yesterday, and I was so happy about it. But Mitch, what were your feelings on it?
I think it's the sign of a very good team who can win on their bad days. That's the first thing. And I think sometimes what it takes to win when you're playing badly is to put egos aside and just make adjustments, admit that things are not working, initial plans aren't working, all the homework that you did, you might have got a few bits of that wrong, honestly. What you thought you were going to see on the day was not what you saw on the day, and you got to suddenly reevaluate and put your ego aside and just adjust. That they did. What I didn't like was how long it took to see some fairly glaringly obvious signs like Mr. Rivers not being able to throw it more than 25-30 yards, and yet we were too far off people. There was too much cushion. We were allowing too much. We were giving far too much respect to a league veteran who had been away from the league for what, best part of 6 years. Man's got 11 kids. 11 is 10. A higher number.
10. 10 kids, but he's got grandkids
that we know of.
Yeah, but he's got grandkids. So we played a granddad, a legitimate granddad, and we mentioned this last night. Hawk Skull, who's watching now, we were picking apart the fact that we were playing cover 2 all game.
Yeah,
and after the first half, it was evident that Rivers could not throw further than 20-25 yards. Yeah. There is no way that he was going to get it over the top. And
I mean, what they were covering, you know what they were covering, right? They were covering for, the chance that maybe someone would fumble the ball forward that far. That was the only chance they had of seeing the ball back there, was if someone fumbled it. Like when Jamal Adams nutted. You remember when he headed that ball? Yeah, you remember the like prime. He said he was like prime Messi in the press conference. That's what they were back there for, the nutted, tip.
Well, I've been racking my brain about it, and the only reason I could see Mike McDonald having 2 deep safeties would be to act as our British watchers and followers would know this, or any soccer fan, having a sweeper. If he does play sort of like a short in or a crossing route, which manages to break past the first level of cover in the linebackers, then at least you've got the safeties there to cover people like your Pierces, your Downs, your Pittmans. But that never happened. We wasted. Well,
say that. He did throw more than 30 yards one time. Kobe Bryant picked it.
Yeah, but did you see that throw though? It looked like he'd possibly dislocated his shoulder. He put every ounce of his being into that throw.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
No, it wasn't. And pretty much every throw that was 20 yards or more was very much a whole body throw. And I know with the mechanics of being a QB, you have to put some of your body in it, but a lot of it is down to sort of the triggers through your hips and, your shoulder and whatnot. But this was sort of every bit of his body going into that. And yeah, I despaired watching some of that defensive play. And I know you're going to get on to talking about one of your favorite players as one of your winners. But I had some points I wanted to raise, and it was a massive bone of contention. And do you know another good thing about doing this the day after? I get to listen to other podcasters before ours. And it seems that light has dawned on some of these more followed podcasters that K9 might not be the solution. Who knew? I'm not saying Charbonnet is a solution, but at the moment it's a better solution than K9. And that much is evidenced by the rushing yards yesterday. I mean, don't get me wrong, rushing was awful. We rushed for 50 yards. In the first half, we had 3 rushing yards. 3. So it means 47 rushing yards came in the second half. And you had Zach Charbonnet, 31 yards off 8 attempts. Ken Walker, 17 yards off 9 attempts. And you've got to think one of those attempts was, I'm pretty sure it was a TFL for like 7 yards. You had Sam Darnold, who had 5 yards off 4 scrambles. Rashid Shaheed had 1 carry for -3. Something needs to be done about this rushing attack because it is not the one. It's just not working. And you would have thought by this point in the season, week 15, we would have figured something out. Even though there have been games where we've looked better rushing, we've not looked like a team that our whole offense is predicated on the run, on the rush, and it's starting to baffle me, and it's affecting play action as well. Because regardless of if we're rushing, there's still defensive lines are still looking at us going, they're hardly going to get anything anyway, so let's just flood them. You know, we might as well blitz the rush, and then if the QB still got it, perfect. We're pressuring him anyway. It's just it's mind-boggling for me at the moment. I'm just going to plant my flag and say K9 is probably not here next year.
Yeah, I think that much is obvious. There's other things in that as well. The fact that running backs rarely get second contracts in this league.
Mm-hmm.
It's the percentage of them that do is like 20%, or just over 20%. It's not high, and when you look at Ken Walker and his availability, plus then factor in consistency, I don't think that factors well for him for an extension. I do think he gets a contract elsewhere. I do think he'll potentially bounce around the league. The chances of him signing for someone as a free agent and staying there for the rest of his career, I think, is very unlikely. I think he'll end up being the kind of player that there's an injury to someone in camp and Ken Walker goes in there for 5-6 million and does a job. There's also a chance he finds a good scheme fit somewhere else. But then if he does and he's playing the lion's share of snaps, is he then durable enough? So there's far too many questions for him to get paid at the Seahawks. And if he does, it will be a very team-friendly deal. But I still don't think he's the right fit for what we're trying to do. So, I agree.
The only reason you'd re-sign Ken Walker now is if there were no running backs in this draft that you thought could do anything within this scheme, and you look at the fact that you've had him, Mike McDonald has had him for 2 years. He knows him as a player. Clint Kubiak has had him for a year, and he goes, look, he knows my scheme. He might not be the most effective, but he knows kind of what he's doing. So, team-friendly deal, keep him in the building, stop him going somewhere like Miami, where he can have a Raheem Mostert type career, where he just comes in and absolutely dominates for a season, earning a massive contract somewhere else. But I can't get my head around what's going so wrong. I mean, there was one play in particular that we mentioned last night in the watch party, which was a blown up run because Latu essentially chop blocked Anthony Bradford onto his knees, and with Anthony Bradford being such a big unit, he just fell backwards into K9, and K9 couldn't do anything to round that. But apart from that, there was nothing again, and I feel like I'm just banging the same drum every week. There is nothing from K9 that makes me think he's a premier back in the league. And everyone's going to hark back on to, but he was really good in his first year. He's been consistent. We're just waiting. He just needs the right scheme, or needs, one big play to break off. And we said it last night. What people look at those big explosive plays. So when you look at the majority of his yardage, he will have one play where he'll break 60 yards. And everyone goes, he had a great look at his average yards per carry, look at his total yards. But then you look at it and you go, well, let's take out that 60-yard rush. And then he's got 18 more carries, which made probably an average of 2.5 yards per carry, if that. It's people just need to look beyond what he can do, look at what he is doing, and what he is doing is nothing. That rant over.
Well, I'm going to pull this one up from Hawks Girl. We still have Sharps, Halani, McIntosh under contract. I don't think we need to resign K9, even with without any good RBs in the draft. I think you'll find free agents that can do a serviceable job behind Charbonnet, and even that is dependent on you not liking the development of Halani, who honestly is already borderline running back 3 material now with a high ceiling. Yeah. So, there's options there, and genuinely McIntosh can do a real job in this sort of system as well. We just haven't been able to see it yet. So I'm not concerned about losing some star quality at running back. I'd almost rather have that money available to add talent elsewhere.
I mean, K9 Glazers are going to hate me for this, but Kenny McIntosh he's injured this year. He's dealt with injuries, which obviously brings questions about his durability. But like you said, he could do bits in an offense like this because there's a fantastic pass catching back. Charbonnet is as well, but he's not been used by that for that. But he's got breakaway speed. He'll hit a gap. He'll run through people, and he's got more gas than Charbonnet. So that is your option right there. Let that run with that for next year and see how it goes. Start putting some more money and focus on a right guard, maybe an edge rusher, another cornerback, depending on what happens. And this one from Rich, I'm just going to pull it up. McIntosh is an angry runner, which is what we need. We don't need someone who's going to constantly keep trying to bounce it outside and make an extra yard and then get tackled back for 7 because he's decided to do like an end around to himself. And I'm frustrated. It's exhausting being this annoyed with a running game. I'll be very honest.
I'm going to do my usual thing here and mention the draft because I always find a way to smuggle that in. There are people that say, oh, this isn't a great year for running backs and whatnot. But when people say that, they're talking about either top-end talent, is this a franchise run like RB1? Is this a generational talent? Is this Ashton Genty again? Is this Bijan Robinson? Or are there so many running backs in this draft that you can still get a really good RB1 or 2 on day 3, But actually, I think that what we need isn't necessarily an RB1. We need a good scheme fit. Mm-hmm. And if you actually boil it down and look at some of the players coming out of college, you can actually go, well, actually a physical runner that runs it up the gut really well, or a player that's got a blend of physicality and tough running as well as a bit of straight line speed could actually just be a perfect fit as an RB2 or RB3 in our system. So there are options for us to really add to what we have in our RB room this year in this draft. But people will tell you it's not a good running back draft. Do you see what I mean? I think we're going to... Yeah, and Coleman's been fantastic. And at the top of the draft, you've got Love from Notre Dame as well. There's a few names in that class that stick out.
So wait and see here, but I'm going to put it here now on Monday, the 15th of December, 2025. K9 will not be a Seahawk next season.
Yeah, I think that's pretty safe. Mm-hmm. I'm in full agreement.
Yeah, and I think going hand in hand with how deficient the running game is was yesterday's 3rd down conversion. Absolutely shambolic. Yep. 2 from 13 attempts. And that all stems from, I'll go back to it, the running game. Not being able to run, not being able to get as close to 10 yards, having to then rely on Sam Darnold to do something where, let's face it, the Colts, their pass rush yesterday was actually putting a lot of pressure on Darnold. Latu fantastic. You had the linebackers in Pratt and Franklin who were just steaming all over the place. You know, you give them a gap and they were running through it towards Darnold. And it's not good enough. And it's weird because our third down conversion is something we've been shocked by all year, that we've been quite proficient. But yesterday it just went out the window. We just didn't seem to be able to put anything together. And this is all going to go into my loser for the game. It's not K9, but I'll leave that dangling right there. Is there anything you want to sort of highlight here? Because we might as well skip over the highlights because these are our highlights and lowlights here.
Yeah, I thought the areas that were unaffected by season-ending injuries for the Colts, or at least the lesser affected areas of their roster, really managed to put on enough of a show yesterday to make it competitive. It's clear that they've had a massive downgrade at quarterback because of injury. It's clear to me that Sauce Gardner is going to be missed in any DB room across the league, and he'll be missed as well when they're not picking in the first round for the next 2 years, and in the meantime his career's under the spotlight with the injuries he's had. So they've taken some big blows this year, and the areas of their team that were not affected by those blows showed up yesterday, in my opinion. Yeah, and that made it competitive.
Yeah, and it's a sad thing to see as well that a depleted Colts team, when we were at full strength near enough, I'm pretty sure all of our starters were in. Yet we couldn't do what we wanted to do. There was zero edge pressure, which really annoyed me, and it's something that I've said all season. Marfay completely ineffective. Game in, game out, you just don't see him at all. And then Nwosu, nothing happened. Derek Hall went off with an injury, then came back on, but he didn't do a lot either. The interior D line, you didn't really see them put a lot of pressure on old man Rivers. But yeah, I don't know. I'll tell you what. The more I talk about it now, the more frustrated I'm getting.
I tell you what stands out to me as well. They ended up very early in that game without their starting right and left tackle, and Mafe doesn't, in this system where we're rushing 4 most of the time. If he is one of the 4, which you'd expect him to be if he's out there, he does not get home rushing in a 4. Well, if he was ever going to get home rushing in a 4, you'd think it would be when their 2 starting tackles were not there. If he's on an island with one man, and it's a non-starting NFL tackle, you'd at least expect him to get a bit more joy. He did not. So another player, much like K9, it's a very similar conversation for Boye Mafe, I think.
Yeah, I think, and I said yesterday whilst we were watching this, as soon as I knew their left tackle was out and their right tackle went out, I said that there's got to be sacks coming now off the edge. There's got to be. And yet we just couldn't put anything together. It was just frustrating. I mean, before we go into any highlights that we may have, right, real highlights, shall we just see what this does to the NFC West very quickly? So, as you can see there's ourselves and the Rams sitting at 11-3. The Rams have clinched the playoffs already. And I think that's on point differential, is it? Oh no, it's because they're 3-1 in the division. That'll do it. So behind us, you've got the Niners at 10-4, and then the Cardinals 3-11. And just think there were people out there saying the Cardinals will finish above us this year.
0-5 in the division, by the way.
I know, it's shocking, isn't it? And I'm pretty sure when I looked at this, I want to say the 49ers might have the easiest run to the end of the season.
Haven't they got the Colts, though?
Yes.
The Colts did enough against us for me to think that they can do something against the Niners. Although we had the the wild card of it being for Rivers' first game back, they can now look at that tape and go, we know exactly what we can expect out of Old Man Rivers. So, there's a certain amount of surprise that is going to be taken out of that. Maybe it shouldn't have ever been a surprise.
In fact, so they've got the Colts, then the Bears, who are still riding high at 10-4, and then they've got us. So not the easiest.
I'd say that's pretty tough. I'd like to think that that's tough.
And then Rams have got us, obviously. So we'll be going live on Friday evening. Then they've got the Falcons and then the Cardinals. So the Rams have got, in my opinion, then the easiest final 2 games. You know, I'm not going to say the final 3 because Friday morning, as it's going to be, is going to be a make or break game for us. You know, and then then you look at who have we got? The Rams. Then we've got the Panthers.
Panthers is like the 28th, Sunday 28th, I think.
Mm-hmm. And then the 49ers to finish it all. So it's going to come down to the wire, this, when it comes to the NFC West. So, it's going to be an exciting way to finish. Thanks to everyone who's joining us now, by the way. Really appreciate it. Just want to give a very quick shout out as well to partners of the show, who are, you can see them in the bottom left-hand corner there, or right-hand corner. And that's Flying V Sports Vintage. They're a UK-based vintage American sportswear clothing company. You can find all of these garments on screen, plus many, many more. If you want to buy anything from there, delivery is really quick, so I'm pretty sure they'll try and get it to you before Christmas as well. Use code 12Talk, get 20% off. Can't say any fairer than that. I bought some stuff from them, and it's been absolutely fantastic. So big shout out to them. Right, shall we go into proper highlights? Let's look at things that bring a positive light to this, because there were some.
Yeah, there were some.
I'll start with the really low hanging fruit here, and that's Jay Myers' game winning field goal. Purely for me, because all the announcers, as soon as Groupie stepped up to make that field goal, they thought it was going to be a fairy tale ending for him after he'd been cut by the Saints. He'd come in, he'd made that 57-yard field goal, whatever it was. And then the ball gets back in Sam Darnold's hand with no timeouts remaining. And he does such an amazing job to drive us into field goal range for ice cold Jason Myers to just slot it. Absolutely dissected the uprights. But it's an odd number year for my...
I was going to make this exact point, tongue in cheek. And thank you for that, Hawks goal. You nailed it. Yeah, it's absolute rubbish. I know how much we like these romantic little nuggets that just but they're absolutely not true at this point. That was a great performance and a Seahawks record, I think, as well.
Yeah,
so
it is. And then you've got that's just come in. Jason Myers is 8 field goals away from setting an NFL all-time record for field goals made in a single season. Anyone who's harping on Jay Myers missing the 61-yarder in LA is out of their mind. It's true. Every kicker misses a kick, but to be consistently that good and win your team games says a lot, in my opinion. So Jay Myers gets my first highlight. I won't have a bad word said about him.
I'll say one thing, not a negative thing at all, in my opinion, but there will be people that see this as a negative. I think when your defense is so good and so reliable and so consistent and gets you off the field, regularly, early, what you really need, first of all, I would say, as a complement to that, is a solid running game. Mm-hmm. If you don't have a solid running game, have a very good kicker.
which we've got.
And ideally both, because it shouldn't cost you the world to be able to have a good running game and a good kicker, and then some stars on defense and get you off the field. But I really feel like that was a winning recipe for us yesterday. Actually defending against a 44-year-old quarterback properly, and not missing any field goals. But who knew that would win you a game?
Who knew, eh? Well, Mike McDonald did, because I think he actually played. He called quite a good game. Just offensively, that's not Mike McDonald's bag. Did you have any highlights?
Yeah, I mean, you've segued me nicely there. I mean, I've got down here that I thought our second half adjustments were effective. They didn't suddenly give us all of our hopes and dreams for what this game could have been, in terms of, you know, starting to unleash fireworks in the passing game and suddenly have Ken Walker, you know, take it to the house, you know, with long bursty runs that we know he can do. We didn't see that, but what we did see was defensive adjustments that actually stopped the very few things they could actually do, because we bottled the run game reasonably well.
Yeah.
It was just the case that we were allowing a bit too much respect for Rivers, I think.
Well, we held them to 97 yards on the run, so that's another game where we've not allowed 100+ yards.
Yeah, and we've been super consistent with that. It was just, again, I think just too much respect for their passing game.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the adjustments we made in the second half, I thought were the ones we needed to make probably earlier in the first half. They could have been first quarter adjustments, honestly. But yeah, so that was a highlight for
me. My next highlight. And I mentioned this, and it's something that I nerded out over big time about the turf versus field turf. Why are people slipping? Is Lumen turf, or is it grass, or is it hybrid? It's, for anyone who doesn't know, turf is basically what we call in the UK AstroTurf. So it's about that thick, planted on top of rubber. And then the field turf that Lumen's got is the slightly longer grass, which is planted deeper with more cushioning, and then uses the rubber pellets. But there was slips and trips everywhere. Rivers' slip yesterday, which led to Emenwari's sack, was a highlight, because he had no idea where he was going, what he was doing. The hole opened up in front of him, and he went, oh my God, should I run through that? And then he couldn't. He just slipped. And then Emenwari, who was barreling down him anyway, managed to get the hands on there first, and it classed a sack. It's probably the easiest sack he'll ever have. And another highlight, I don't know if you're going to talk about it, but we've had a comment come in whilst we're talking about Emenwari. Nick not suplexing a guy was cool. It must have been tempting.
There was shades of Devon Witherspoon a few years ago, wasn't there? With that, we all saw it coming, and then he just pulled out. There's a brain in Nick Emenwari's head. Mm-hmm. Genuinely, in real time, he is, the way he processes things and the decisions he makes are actually quite sound. There were a few people during the draft process that thought his attitude wasn't in keeping with a first round pick. They thought he wasn't mature enough. Mm-hmm. Actually, in that moment, in the heat of battle, that was quite a switched on decision he made.
Yeah, it was so good to see as well, because he could have quite easily just picked him up, thrown him to the ground, shown his alpha dominance, but he didn't. He picked him up, held him, and you could see in sort of like a millisecond that thought went through his mind, and he went, "Oh no, I'll put you down instead." That for me, that was
a soft landing, and a pat on the back.
Yeah. Maxi, great highlight, that one. Mitch, have you got any more highlights you want to get to before we go to our winners and losers?
Yeah. Just JSN's second half, I thought. I mean, I know that he's still an absolute root technician, even if he's not being targeted. You can almost guarantee if you just had a camera on JSN, you'd be swooning at the quality of some of these. So the way he gets out of his breaks, it's unbelievable to watch. He finds a yard of space on pretty much every route he ever runs, but he wasn't getting targeted for whatever reason, and there was plenty of pressure and everything. it didn't work for him. The second half he had allowed him to get enough yards to stay on track for a record-setting year.
Yeah.
And I'm at a point now where there's games within games. I don't want our opponents to get over 20 points. I don't want to see the opponent's run game go over 100 yards. I definitely want to see JSN get 100 yards a game to stay on track for his own personal game. So one of those mini games within our game, I was quite happy with, but it was due to the fact that JSN ripped off some great runs, or some great receptions, but there was some yard after the catch that showed really good awareness of the way that defenders were committing to stopping him, coming back and round and evading some tackles, adding on 10, 15 yards to some of his receptions. So he did the absolute utmost he could to maximize his targets in the second half.
And it's his release, not even in sort of like man press coverage. It's even when they're in zone. He can find his man. He'll put a move on them. It's so Doug Baldwin-esque. It really is. Just watching the fake of the head, shake of the hips, a quick sort of sidestep, shimmy, goosey, whatever you want to call it, and he will change direction on a dime. And that is what has been massive for him this year. I look at him, 113 yards. I want to give massive shout out as well to Raheed Shaheed, who had 74 yards off 5 receptions, and then Cooper Kupp 46 off 5. Cooper Kupp just came in with the catches, and he was free when he needed to be, as sort of like the outlet valve for Darnold. So from the wide receiving point of view, brilliant. And with that, shall we move on to our winners and losers? Because this will be probably to no one's surprise. Before we do so, those of you who watch us regularly will know this already, but we are the UK Seahawks official podcast. Memberships have reopened. They've opened again for 2026. And if you want to become a member, it's £12 for a single membership, £20 for a family of up to 4 in the same household. If you're outside the UK, it's an extra £5 postage per membership, but that's because of the goodies we get. But with that, you will get access to our social events. I had word earlier that they know the city, they know the approximate dates. They're just looking for a venue. There's 10% discount at the Pro Shop. You'll be eligible for game day field passes if they're available, access to members-only competitions, and the annual selection of goodies, which are here. This year we got our patch that we get every year in our wristband. We got some coasters, and we got our membership card, which you can carry in your wallet to prove you are a card-carrying member of the UK Seahawkers. And you can join us and this lovely bunch here from our Glasgow meetup to have some beers, talk Hawks. There's always an awesome raffle that goes on as well, where you can bid for some amazing Seahawks memorabilia, which is sent over to us from sort of the central council of the Seahawkers. And it is a fantastic time with all of them. So join up. The link to find the Facebook page is there, or if you want to join our Discord as well, we have a separate UK Seahawkers channel for that, and all the information will be in there. Discord. Mitch will pop the link in the comments. It's also down below in the pod description. Mitch, shall we talk about our winners and losers?
I would like to do that.
I would like you to go first with your winner, because you've missed a couple of weeks. You've not been able to talk about this man. He has given you reason to talk again this week, and I think it's well deserved.
Well, I think you had him down as a winner, didn't you? And I didn't, but I didn't because you did.
I did, but I'll let you have this one, mate.
You've retracted. Okay.
No, I've not retracted. I will just.
Oh, you just want me to open it?
I'll pass the baton to you.
Okay, well, I'm going to start with an anecdote. So today, some members of our Discord may have seen on Facebook, I had a 20-week scan with my partner. So we got to see our baby on a scan. And our sonographer doing the scan was talking about the measurements and the percentiles. And my partner was asking for them to explain, the percentiles and how that works and whatnot. And I chipped in with talking about Nick Emanori's combine results. As an example, I was trying to explain if someone does something or measures something and it's the longest or the fastest that anyone's ever had, that would give you an 100th percentile. But if you did it the slowest or it was the smallest, you'd have a 1 percentile. So if our baby's femur was measuring X and it put it in the 85th percentile, that's a pretty big femur, and we were expecting big femurs from any spawn of mine. So I was
big everything, mate.
But it triggered me to think, because I was planning on talking about Nick Emanori here in this pod anyway, and I thought, well, I'm going to pull up those results for anyone that happened to forget. So Nick Emanori's percentiles: 6'3", strong safety, 97th percentile. His weight of 220 pounds for a strong safety, 92nd percentile. His vertical jump of 43 inches was a 98 percentile. It was an absolute monster of a jump, if anyone remembers. Those big albatross wings, just flicking those pegs. It was a majestic sight for anyone who didn't watch it. Board jump of 11.6 was a 98th percentile, another masterful performance. And the 40-yard dash in a 4.38 was a 94th percentile. So what does that mean, really, when you're at the combine? If you measure that impressively, if you can't perform in the NFL? And quite honestly, what we're seeing now from Nick Emanori after the breakout 2 games he's just had is exactly what we would have dreamed of. We wanted to see an absolute athletic freak that was playing the game at a high level and actually putting those traits and the athletic prowess to good use. And sure enough, he's being used as a defensive weapon off the edge, in cover, in the box, stuffing runs. And the stat sheet for the last 2 games, which people are looking at as his breakout 2 games now: 3 pass breakups, 2 sacks, 13 tackles, 3 TFLs, an interception, a blocked field goal, and 2 quarterback hits in 2 games.
Ridiculous.
What's he going to do against the Rams?
Yeah. Nothing like setting a precedent.
Yeah.
Honestly, I love how you mentioned all the percentiles. Just takes me back to when my little girl was born and the nurse or the midwife came out and she was like, "Oh, she's the 98th percentile for head size." And I went, "Is that good or bad?" She was like, "It's big." I was like, "Oh, that makes sense." But yeah, he's just
I'm sure it brought a tear to Bex's eye seeing that.
Sunroof, baby, it's fine. But fair yeah, enough. Man, he was on my list of winners today. For good reason. He's just been outstanding. Everything he does with intent, he does with speed, he does with aggression, and he does with precision, which is something from a rookie who's being moved around the field like a chess piece, being asked to do so many different things. He does it so precisely that it's as if he's been in the league for longer.
Yeah.
And you've got to think he missed games as well this season due to injury.
Well, it's the sign of a good first-round pick. I mean, the jury was out whether he was a first-round graded player or a second-round graded player. And it was only his combine testing really that pushed him up into that first-round conversation or the top end of it. There's some people were talking about him going top 10, top 15 at one point. I think where he ended up being taken was a bit, at least 10 positions lower than he should have gone realistically. But there needs to be a team that values him that highly and wants to use a first-round pick on a safety. So that's the first thing really, to describe or explain why he fell to us. But he's absolutely looking like a game wrecker now. And any defensive player that can wreck a game for you is deserving of a first-round pick. But what really does make a first-round pick? Instant impact in the league. If you're giving up a first-round pick for a player, you are expecting an almost immediate return. And it was only really injury that's delayed this. But now the game is at a speed for him where he can really sort of make an impact. It's not too much for him at all. So I think actually, whatever happens with our season, Nicky Minori and Gray Zabel will feel like we picked twice in the first round, and both players gave us an absolutely amazing return.
Yeah. No notes. Great summary of Nicky Minori, and he's, the fact you've got his jersey, he might be tempted as well.
I'm going to give you one final thing on Imanori. I just want to give you one little thing from PFF. So, just a couple of bits. He's played the 57th most snaps for a safety, not a strong safety, just a safety. So there are 56 safeties that have played more snaps than him. But I tell you this, he is first when it comes to pass rush snaps. So whilst there are 56 safeties that have played more snaps than him, not one of them has been out there for more pass rushing snaps, which shows how the Seahawks have planned to use him. You realistically could have expected him to be out there for the most running snaps, right? Because we're light on linebackers. They're going to play him in the box. They're not going to put him in coverage too much. Like you're going to think you're not going to see him on passing downs. Wrong. He's playing all the passing downs. And then he's also first in pressures for safeties as well. And second for sacks. Now, when you consider also he got injured in the first game of the season, on pretty much the first snap he played, if you recall, it was a very Jamal Adams way to open your season, if you know what I mean. But actually now, he's out there a lot of the time, and he's topping a lot of PFF's grading for safeties. So there you go.
Don't need to say anymore. He's part of a fantastic safety room. I spoke about it last week in the solo pod. He's got, vets in there. You look, Kobe Bryant. Yeah, it's a good segue. I thought Kobe Bryant yesterday. He's one of my winners. I had to pivot off Imanori. I thought he's just got. And I said this last week. With Julian Love being out for so long, Kobe Bryant was put in there as a vet. And I'm sorry, if you're 4 years in the league, I don't class you as a vet at any professional level. 4 years is a veteran territory for me. I see vet as someone like, late 20s going into their 30s. Your big cats, your D-Laws, they're vets to me. Your J Reeds. But he has got such command, and he is an absolute ball hawk. I called it last week where I said after he'd missed 2 interception attempts, he'd get one. This one for Rivers, you could just tell he was tracking that ball in slower motion than the ball was actually thrown. Big shout out to Spoon as well.
To do, actually.
Yeah, exactly. Big shout out to Spoon as well for tipping that ball up for him. But when you see the play, the replay, Kobe was just moving to the flight path of that ball anyway. So regardless of whether he had that extra yard from the tip or where it was going, he would have got that. I think Kobe has been outstanding. He's one of the players in the safety room that I think is essential to the way Mike Mack wants to play this scheme. That needs to be re-signed. I think he will be a priority over K9. Based on what we said earlier, he's going to be anyway. Because K9, he'll be a sacrifice, and someone else can deal with the frustration of watching him run. So you had Nick Imanori, I had Kobe Bryant.
Well, do you know who also is on my list of winners?
Oh, who?
Another safety. Is it safe to say that safeties actually won the game for us in last game?
Weirdly, even though we played too deep, that didn't do a lot during the game apart from just standing there going, "This ball's never coming anywhere near us." But they did.
They actually did
well.
kind of have an impact. Yeah, and the reason I mentioned safeties, and in this case Julian Love, it's brilliant to have him back, right? And despite great performances in front of him whilst he's been away, and I reference Ty Carter and Imanori's emergence and Kobe Bryant being consistent in there as well. Julian Love's come back in, he's commanded his spot, and there was a sequence in the game, I think it was towards the back end of the first half, where he had 2 pass breakups in a row, or at least one he was in coverage and did enough to put the I think it was a tight end, it might have been Warren, off or shepherd him out to the sideline, and I can't remember, but he just there was a little series where he just seemed to be all over it, and it was just great for me to see a player come back that had missed so much time and look like he hadn't missed a beat and be so fresh at a time where you really need some players to just still have some juice in the tank. So I thought him coming back in and having such an impact and looking so good was a real win for him, because he could come back and been sat behind some star performers.
Yeah, I mean, do you know? I think what's indicative of the too deep safety and not having to do a lot. Looking at the stats for them, Nicky Memori, like you said, he was playing close to the line of scrimmage. He was blitzing. He was getting after the running back and the quarterback. Kobe Bryant had 3 total tackles, 2 solo, 1 pass defense. Ty Carter had 2 solo tackles. Julian Love had 1 tackle, which was a joint tackle, and then 2 passes defense. Like, I don't know whether I should be mad or happy about that. Like, we've both just said that the 3 safeties were fantastic, but I think it's an odd thing to we've just praised them, and I've just looked at the stats, and I said this last week. Stats don't mean everything.
No.
There are so many people that lean on analytics and the numbers in black and white. Sometimes they'll prove something to you, but sometimes it's not that. It's knowing ball, and there are people out there that know ball better than us. But it's all the eye test is a big thing. You can see what a player does within a team, how they galvanize a team, how they lead a team. And in my opinion, that means more than putting up numbers. This team has outright said that they don't care about their personal stats. They just want to win football games. That is evidence of it there.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree. And I always think safeties are kind of like goalkeepers in soccer or European football. And it's kind of a funny thing to say, I guess, but you still have to be switched on. You could not make a save in a game of soccer for 78, 80 minutes of a 90-minute game. But if you're not switched on and ready to perform in a split second when the ball comes your way, you can lose a game for your team. And Julian Love, Kobe Bryant in this case, when their card was called, they performed and they were brilliant. So especially with the time off that Julian Love's had with injury, coming in and being that sharp to just be lights out when he needed to be, I thought that was brilliant to see.
Yeah. I'm going to move on to the offensive side of the ball for my second winner. And I'm going to go Sam Darnold. Now, I listened to a few pods today where there was this weird two-faced view on Sam Darnold. Some people said like he didn't look like he knew what he was doing. He looks like he was, he was just frustrated. To me, he just looked angry. There's a shot of him on the sideline, and he has got this death stare. Now, whether that's into the back of Clint Kubiak or that's just pure focus on the game and envisioning what's going to happen. But Sam Darnold, based on what he had to do yesterday, what he had to work with, I thought he played a fantastic game. I think he led brilliantly. 22 from 36. You had the rare JSN drop. You had some attempts which were just no-goes to start with, but he was trying to do things. And he had, 264 total yards. An average of 7.5 yards per carry. Or 7.5 yards. It's people need to get off his back about the fact that he's not going to take us to the promised land. He's not going to do this, because you need to realize, and this is going to lead into my loser later, that the QB and the offensive play calling go hand in hand. This is not a scheme like Grubb had, where Gino had this ability to make 3 different calls on the line. This is the outside zone scheme where it's, look, you've got your reads, you can audible, but this is how we're set up and this is what you've got to do. And he has to work with what he's got. And I think he's doing that exceptionally. I think he's pulling some of these passes that he's managing to pull out are just absolutely fantastic. Yes, they didn't get a pass in the end zone, but I thought, and it was indicative on that final drive, that's what you've got him for. Where he was seeing ghosts the other week, this week he was locked in on that final drive. He knew exactly what he had to do, who he had to go to, and he wasn't going through sort of 4 reads, 3 reads. It was literally just boom, boom, there. Get it in, get it down, get back. Spiking the ball, missing a down, didn't care, stop the clock, and then just carried on going. He was brilliant.
He only needed to try and play hero ball like Gino used to one time and have it not result in a field goal at the end of it because we did just enough to miss out on that game.
Mm-hmm.
You look how close it was. You look how clutch that was in the end. He did just enough to get us over the line with the help of Jay Myers without taking a result that would have thrown that result away. Without a pick or, holding on to it too long, fumbling it or, whatever. He treaded a line of between mediocrity with the stat sheet and just not taking risks in a game where we were slowly getting just enough momentum to see that we could win that game, and he didn't try and do too much and throw the game away. And there's a maturity in that I think some people would have been looking at that saying, oh, if Darnold keeps playing like that, we won't beat the Rams and we won't top the division, and that's going to cause us problems. Yeah, fine. Okay, there is merit to that. But also you could look at it and say, well, even when we weren't playing well, he didn't force it and make a mistake that cost us the game.
Yeah. And that is, for me, that's one of the metrics that you can't see on paper, but that is the sign of an efficient QB, a good QB for the future. So, yeah, he was my second winner. Have you got another one, Mitch?
Well, that would mean I've done 3 because we shoehorned Eminori in and we've done Julian Love. My non-safety winner, and I'll just give them an honourable mention, was Shaheed. I thought Shaheed, it was one of Shaheed's best games since the trade for him. You can absolutely see why he's a compliment to Cup and JSN in this system. He does all the gadget stuff, which, granted, don't always come off. The special teams, the fact that JSN and Cooper Cup are out there playing fantastic roles as decoys, and we can still, in 2-minute drills or whatnot, or when trying to get in range for a field goal, snap off 12 to 20 yards to Shaheed. The amount of ground he covers to get open, so you can snap off meaningful throws to him when other people are covered. Honestly, it was a huge part of why we managed to do what we did in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. And my final winner, I've already mentioned him before, it's Jason Myers. I think he needs his flowers on this one. I don't need to say any more because we've already said a lot about him, and he definitely needs people just to pay attention to how good of a kicker we actually have, odd or even year regardless. He has been brilliant. So there's our winners and losers. Oh, there's our winners. Oh, we've still got losers. Brilliant. Yes. You can tell I'm lacking sleep. I'm going to kick us off with losers. My loser is Clint Kubiak.
Yeah.
And Clint Kubiak is my loser for the simple matter of fact I mentioned before. We are 14 games into this season. He came in saying that our whole offense was going to be predicated on the run, and he has not been able to do that in any way, shape, or form. We have this incessant need to keep feeding K9 all the time. When he's taking TFLs, when he's not hitting the gaps that are being made for him, when he's ad-libbing. Then we put Charbonnet in. He does what he's told. He runs angry. And he may not make these explosive yards, but he's making 3 or 4 yards running through people. But yet we go back to K9. The passing offense yesterday, we've just said about Sam being able to do stuff with it, but I think there was obvious weaknesses in the Colts defense, mainly the fact that, they were down to I think Bynum was starting, wasn't he? But then another corner. Couldn't tell you the name. And then we didn't exploit that. The pass rush, like, that's a different matter for me. But the fact that we still, having looked at the protection and the pressure they were managing to put on us, there was the adjustments keep coming in the second half. After the first quarter, Clint Kubiak should have been in his bag and said, I know exactly what to do here. He wasn't able to do it yesterday. He's not been able to do it for a number of games now. And I don't know. I think he'll stay on for the year. We'll keep him because we'll keep this young coaching team. But Michael, I've been on both of them. I'm just gonna put this in. I'm not switching from Tariq to K9. It's both of them are in my sights. But yeah, Clint Kubiak, I think, is just, he needs to figure it out. I think Mike Mack in the off season will have to have that conversation with him.
Michael, Josh's hate coin has two sides. He just tosses it.
It's sports hate. It's not real hate. I'm sure they're lovely people, but I can't get on board with what they do and don't do on this team. So there you go. That's my loser, Clint Kubiak. Get in the bin.
I'm going to be quick with mine. Riley Leonard. Because he was fit for the game, and they instead signed a 44-year-old has-been that tripped over himself while, trying to make a 2-3 yard gain. Honestly, if I was Riley Leonard, I'd feel pretty disrespected, honestly. Maybe that's by the by, and maybe there's maybe the Colts fans would tell you that they'd rather see Riley Leonard sort of groomed into the role and not thrown out there, to the Sharks. But realistically, the level of protection that they managed to put up, despite not having two starting tackles, I thought was really good. We wouldn't have had a sack in that game if it wasn't for him tripping over himself and Emanor playing, just patting him on the back while he was on the floor. That Riley Leonard could have done enough with that. But then maybe the idea is just simply, we need an experienced quarterback in there because this is going to be a tight game and it could swing on an interception. Let's just err on the side of caution and play conservatively. But
which it would have done. It would have done. I mean, if we got into that second half and there was an INT, this game would have been turned around, I feel.
Yeah,
but
fair.
He did a good job of protecting the ball. But for people saying, I understand, as someone who retired from a sport with an injury and came back after 3 years on the sideline, that when you come back and do good things, people are going to sing your praises. People are singing his praises, and he only passed for 120 yards. Like, people are talking about him coming back like he came and performed a miracle. The miracle was that we had a bad game and we made him look okay. Now, I genuinely think Riley Leonard probably could have put up more yards than that. There may have been some more turnovers or some issues, but 18 from 27 for 120 yards.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, there you go. So winners and losers.
Yeah.
Good done.
Job.
Yeah,
good job. Three safeties. I don't think we've ever had three Seahawks safeties in a single winners.
No, and I will wait as well for when we put our shorts up. I'll wait when we put that up for people to go, but did you see the PFF stats? People that don't actually tune into the pod and hear our reasoning. Did you not see that? How many tackles and stuff they did in? It's more than just what's on the paper. So I'm just going to put that out there. And before we get to your comments and your questions, because there's been a few that Mitch has been keeping an eye on here, I just want to give a very quick shout out to our charity partner, the Robin Cancer Trust. They did the November run and walk for 10K, whereas now, if you're like me and you hate Christmas cards, I'd see them as absolutely pointless. We're brilliant. I'll sign something, give it to someone, all they're going to do is chuck it in the recycling, essentially throwing away what money you've just given them in a card. Rather than doing that, you can donate to the RCT. Say balls to Christmas cards. I love their marketing. It's absolutely brilliant. If you do want to check out the RCT, if you're a member of your family been affected by testicular and ovarian cancer, they're a fantastic UK-based charity creating awareness for young people around it. There's a link down there for them, and you can go and check it out. They've got some fantastic services and some nice informational pieces on there. And to help them out, we have created some t-shirts as well that we're selling. 25% of all profits are donated to the RCT. If you want one of these t-shirts, hit us up on social media. You can send us a DM or get in our Discord and just have a chat to us. There's a few of our Discord members that have got them. I'm actually wearing one of them now. There you go. See, look at that. This is my my spoon one, I believe. I've got them all. I designed them, so kind of had to get them. But yeah, shall we get to the comments and questions of the people that are with us today? For anyone who's joined us, who's just found us, thank you very much, by the way. If you want to hit like on this video, hit subscribe and the notification bell. You can stay up to date on any new pods we've got coming out. We tend to do after every game. And you can also join our fantastic community in the comments as well. And there's a hype button as well. I have no idea what it is, but I think it helps with the algorithm get us out to more and more 12s, which is what we want. More 12s interacting with us, coming on as guests.
Something I want more of. Glühwein from Lidl.
As someone who grew up in Germany, Glühwein is the one. Mulled wine, Glühwein is it's the original and best. I'll always remember my sister at Christmas time in Germany would always have a pot of Glühwein on the go. As soon as Christmas morning kicked off, we'd sort the kids out, and then she would have like that. Like as soon as I turned up to her house, stirring it up, going, "Oh, it's 10 o'clock in the morning, Josh. Do you want a Glühwein?" Well, why not? So there you go. Recommendation from in Germany. Oh, mate, check you out. You've been speaking to Jonas a lot, right? But this is that time where we get to your questions and your comments. If you've got any, by all means, chuck them in. We're over an hour. Crikey, Mitch, you can tell that we've not been on a pod for 2 episodes. So sure. Mitch has started some of your comments and questions. Let's pull them up and let's have a quick chat about them as well.
One ugly game, but a win is a win, ugly or otherwise. Good teams win ugly when needed. We made this point. I think you need, if you're going to be serious about a good winning record, especially when you've come out of a rebuild. I know it was never officially a rebuild, but you're going to have to grit some games out. We gritted that one out. We got it done.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Max said, wasn't it?
Yeah. Max admitting that he is Phil Rivers' 11th child.
So you were right. There is one out there.
I knew I'd heard a rumor. He did throw more than 30 yards, but it was a Brighton interception. We pulled that one up earlier. Yeah, that is a lovely stat that we love to see. Gary making a comment about the lack of velocity on Rivers' throws. It was odd. Everything seemed to be he threw sort of across himself. It was all out of the back of the hand.
There's a lot of flicking of the wrist. Like Fair Play's wrist action hasn't gone anywhere since retirement.
It's the bit of him that doesn't have arthritis in it yet. Everything else, he couldn't sort of throw a straight line. So it was just kind of like it was odd.
It surprised me. Like with a wrist action like that, you'd expect him to be single and retired. He's got a wife.
I'm not going near that. Right, what else we got? Got a comment here about the state of the NFC West. This would be good to bring up. So tight, 3 playoffs teams in one division. I've said it for years that I think ours is the best division in football. Genuinely, consistently. It just always has been. It's a shame the Cardinals haven't shown up to the party in about 15 years. But yeah.
Completely agree with that one.
What else we got? We got a comment here about J-My, which is nice. So Jason, this is from Jonas.
I put it up earlier.
Oh, you put this one on the screen?
For anyone who missed that, Jason Myers is 8 field goals away from setting the NFL all-time record for field goals made in a single season. So anyone who's harping on J-My for missing a 61-yarder in LA can do one.
Yeah, absolutely. What else we got in here? Oh, we had Clinton Bonner pop up as well, saying hello. Hello to Clinton.
We did.
If
Hello,
you're
Clinton.
Still here. Also in our Discord, if you're not in our Discord, plenty of other content creators and podcasters you might watch in there with us. Feel free to pop in there and start some conversations. What else have we got in here? Let's put that one up. The more the game was on the line, the more risk someone was okay to go. Don't know if it was Mike, Mac, Clint, or Sam. Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? It's hard to really pinpoint which person, if any, were more at fault for the spluttering of in that game. Really,
it was just, all round just not our game, but we still walked out with a win. So that is the main thing.
Agree. So we got some missed winners according to Hawkskull. The Colts O-line defending Rivers like it was their own grandpa. Enough said. That's exactly what it looked like.
They did a good job. It's just their grandpa that fell over that caused the sack anyway. So
yeah. And to be fair, he tripped over himself. Wasn't like the O-lineman tread on his toes. He's tripped himself there. Here we go. So the Colts punter was a huge factor. A ton of them inside our 10. It was particularly good.
Great kicks,
especially when you consider that our play calling was so bad whenever we started drives in our own 20. Some of the play calling when we were in our own 20 was baffling. It was grub-esque at times.
Some of the kick returns from Rashid as well, which he should have let go dead. But he was catching them sort of on our 6 and trying to run it out and getting 5 yards. Didn't help us at all.
No, I do agree. There we go. I'm just eating some Lebkuchen.
Liebkuchen.
Liebkuchen.
Yeah, Gary Leone, good lad. Oh, it is the season, mate.
Do you want to explain what that is for someone like me who is a heathen?
No.
Okay.
Traditional German Christmas cake, mate.
Oh, right. Okay. I've had Stollen before, but I'm not sure if that's is that.
Stollen.
I'm a big fan of marzipan. So yeah,
like a bit of Stollen.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, that's it. Oh, a bit of news just coming in from Jonas here. Cross possibly out versus the Rams.
Yeah, that's a hamstring, I believe.
Oh, there you go. I've been corrected. Liebkuchen is a soft gingerbread. So I was thinking of Stollen. Shows how long it's been Stollen from Germany.
I do love a bit of Stollen.
But yeah, with that, I think we are pretty much done. Unless someone's going to correct us. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. Sorry. But yeah, with that.
Oh, you've gone quiet with the background music. There you go.
Oh, am I back in?
You're back in.
So we'll say a massive thank you to everyone who's joined us for today. It's been awesome having Mitch back. You can join us in our Discord. Mitch will happily put that up in the comments. It's also in the description down below. You can also like and share, hit the notification bell on this. And if you're feeling in the Christmas spirit, you can buy us a coffee.
Or a Stollen.
Yeah, you can buy us cake or pizza or a book. Take your pick. We're a self-funded pod, so everything that you do decide to give us for Christmas will go back into the production of this pod, and we will really appreciate it. But from me, from Mitch, are we going to try it? We've not had it for a few weeks, so are you ready? I'll even turn the volume down on this because this needs to be done properly. Are you ready?
For the first time.
We always finish this on a Go Hawks. As it was pointed out last week, it had to be in sync because it was just me on the pod.
I hope you got it right.
I think I did. There was no delay. So from me, from Mitch, from everyone at 12 Talk, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back on Friday with a very, very special guest reviewing the Rams game. Until then, Mitch, on the count of 3, are you ready?
I'm ready.
1, 2, 3. Go
Go
Hawks.